Hi guys, welcome back. This is Samara from coachingconsciouscreators.com coming to you with another video to help you create the life you desire. So I'm making this video as a result of someone reaching out to me and asking me the question about how to improve their self-image. So this person was feeling like people were able to sense underneath the attempted camouflage all of their insecurities, fears, low self-worth, all those types of things. And this person was realizing that it's impossible to camouflage energy and was trying to figure out ways to truly improve her image of herself and her perceived value. And so we talked through it, and I gave her 4 tips I'm going to share with you guys today that I've used in my own life to help transform the thoughts and beliefs that were running through my head about myself, to help transform the way that I was moving through the world. So hopefully these tips are helpful for all of you. So you'll see me glance down at my notes to keep track. The first tip is to change the measuring stick. So many of us grew up with the impression that if we did things that other people liked, that was what made us lovable. Unfortunately, that's a natural outcome for most people because our parents, in trying to gear us towards the things that they thought would make us successful, and in a lot of cases that was true, would punish us when we did things they didn't like and seemingly withdraw their love, at least that's what it seemed like from a child's perspective, and reward us when we did things that they did like. And so naturally that creates in us this belief that we're only valuable when we do the things that other people want us to do. That we're only valuable if others perceive us as valuable, because those that we needed and trusted would punish us or reward us based on how we were being, who we were being, whether or not they were pleased with us. And so a lot of us either become people pleasers or we go the opposite end of the spectrum and we enter all these unhealthy areas because our motivations or our perceived value is off. And so the first tip I gave her was to take away that measuring stick altogether. Our value is based on the fact that we exist. And that sounds really egocentric. It sounds like something, people say millennials believe, but it's true. If we believe that we're valuable, then we treat ourselves as though we are valuable. We treat ourselves better, and we expect better treatment from other people. And some may say, oh no, that's a new school way of thinking. It doesn't work like that, but it truly does. Like in an instant, you can give off the energy that you deserve the best. And that goes 2 ways. It's not just that you deserve the best from others, but you deserve the best from yourself. So a lot of us go through life betraying ourselves because we have this low self-image, because we don't think that we're worth anything or we're not valuable based on whatever measuring stick that we've put in place. We don't treat ourselves well. We don't give ourselves the right food. We don't care how we feel. We don't, pay attention to whether or not we even like the choices that we've made in life. And so giving yourself this high value means that you begin to treat yourself better, which means you're able to treat other people better instead of being a people pleaser. All of us are familiar with that feeling of someone who we know doesn't care anything about themselves and everything they're doing is to please us. They're the yes man. There's that famous scene from Coming to America when the chosen wife is saying, whatever you like. And the prince is like, no, I need to find somebody who has a mind of their own. It's very attractive to find someone who stands grounded in their own power and who understands their intrinsic value as a human being, simply because of the power that we have to create and to, give to others and to do all these amazing things that we can do as human beings. That capability gives us our value off top. And if we're worried about some measuring stick that doesn't even matter, like all these people that we're trying to please as we try to go up and down this measuring stick are having their own internal battles. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why they're so critical or judgmental or so picky about what it is that they expect from you, is because they're not looking within. They have their own issues with their own sense of self and value. And so when you move away from that measuring stick and you center yourself and you say, I have value because I exist, and you just decide to do better for yourself, it changes everything. It changes the energy that you give off, and it causes people to respond to you in a brand new way. So that was number one. Change the measuring stick. Throw it away altogether. You have value. That's it. You decide the value and no one else. Number two is take your actions based on what pleases you internally and not the judgments of other people. Like I said, everyone's fighting their own internal battle, and people are so unpredictable. And if we spend our lives worried about how someone's going to feel about what we do all the time, people who shouldn't even be factors in our decision making, then that leads to walking on eggshells. That leads to a false self. And everyone has been around a people pleaser that's so nervous and so worried about what everyone thinks, that you can't even see their actual personality. They actually do the opposite, and they're kind of like in the way because they're not bringing their own energy to the table. They're bringing this anxiety and this need to please to the table. So the second thing I said was, make your choices based on what pleases you. A woman especially, leaning into her sense of pleasure is one of the most pleasant things that anyone can experience. And that's just true. And if we're busy looking outside of ourselves and we ignore our pleasure and we allow ourselves to fall into this anxiety about what everyone thinks and how everyone's going to react to what we do, we take away from not only our own pleasure, but other people's experience of us as well. The third thing is to expect rejection naturally. When we move into that space, that centeredness, not everyone's going to like what we choose. Not everyone's going to agree with our, point of view. And that's why it's so important to lean into it even more. So a lot of us are afraid that people will move away from us if we don't do things the way that they want, if we don't meet certain expectations. And I'm here to say that that's actually a good thing. Not to say that it's a good thing to be rejected, abandoned, but when we're in that low energy of trying to please everybody else and we have no sense of our own desire, what pleases us, we attract other low vibrational people. We attract other people who are having internal battles and who, even though they may look confident on the outside, have all kinds of hell going on the inside. And we're running around trying to please these people. But when we center ourselves and we allow our energy to rise and we lean into what pleases us and we focus our attention on our authentic selves, then we draw in a new set of people. We draw new energy to us. So it's a good thing that those people are moved out of our space to make room for those who accept us just as we are. Not to say that, you'll lose everybody around you, but you will lose those people that were never for you in the first place, which is good. And you'll draw in people who are attracted to who you really are. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You're pleasing yourself and you're drawing in people who enjoy you being happy. So that was number 3. And so as we're having this conversation, me and my friend, she's like, oh goodness, I'm trying to grasp all of this. I've got to get all of this. Oh, I have so much work to do. So I added a 4th thing. Initially, I only had 3 things, but the 4th thing was self-compassion, because this is a process and it's not perfect. And some days we'll be able to lean into that and we'll be able to be really grounded and we'll be able to come from a space of knowingness and joy. And some days we won't. Some days we'll be triggered. Some days there'll be a lot of stress around us and we'll move back into old habits, people pleasing. We'll start to have, maybe some not so positive thoughts about who we are. And that's okay. It just has to be okay. It has to be okay that, if you're a person who's had low self-esteem or put a low value on yourself, you have to forgive yourself for that. And if you fail, you have to forgive yourself for that. And if you don't get it right all the time, you just have to forgive yourself for that. Love on yourself like you would love on your children. When we think about all these 4 tips that I've given today, number 1, throw away that measuring stick. You have value because you exist. Number 2, take action based on what pleases you. Number 3, expect to be rejected by people who don't want to accept you for who you really are. And number 4, that self-compassion or that compassion, that's what we give to people we love. We don't judge other people so harshly. We know that everyone comes with, a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. It's just the nature of humans. And we don't expect other people to take all their actions to please us. We don't expect other people to accept everything that we do. So why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? We don't do that with our children. We love our children just because they exist, just because they are who they are. We adore them, the good and the bad. We don't judge them for focusing on their needs and what pleases them. So let's treat ourselves that way. Let's be compassionate toward ourselves the way we're compassionate towards other people. And that way we can fill ourselves up so much and come into people's spaces with such joy and peace that we have more to offer, that we can even really truly tune into people for who they are. When we deny ourselves, when we are not authentic, when we don't care how we feel, when we don't care, what happens to us, when we let, life just beat us up, when we don't take good care of ourselves, when we betray ourselves, then, we can't bring anything positive to anyone else. All we do is set ourselves up to be treated that way by other people who are on that same low vibration. So fill yourself up. Love on yourself just because you exist. And it's amazing how the things that once seemed so difficult to overcome, whether it's, challenges with depression or, weight issues or relationship issues, things that felt insurmountable, when you're loving on yourself, all of a sudden become easy. You say, well, why am I accepting these negative beliefs? I can change them. Because you love yourself. You're looking at yourself as someone who's valuable. Or why am I putting things in my body that don't make me feel good? I deserve to be putting things in my body that make me feel good. And all of a sudden it's easy to, eat healthier and maintain your weight. Or, you're back and forth with people who are treating you a certain way and you have 0 boundaries, but you're frustrated all the time. When you start loving yourself, you set those boundaries and those people see you in a new light, and they either improve their interactions with you, aka meet you on your level, or they move away from you and make room for people who will. It's just, it all runs together so seamlessly. So again, those 4 things are: throw away that measuring stick. You have value because you exist. You set your price. If you charge $1.99, that's what people are going to pay. If you charge $80,000 like Tiffany's for a single jewel for you, then that's what people are going to bring to the table as well. There's always someone who wants the real you and what you have to offer. Expect and be able to deal with rejection. Not to say it should be ignored or minimized, but just that it should be expected. And I can do a whole nother video on that. But there are tools that you can use to get through that and make space for the new things that are coming into your life. And have compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Forgive yourself for anything you've done in the past that is contrary to what I'm talking about in this video. So I hope this was helpful. All of these things and more can also be enhanced through reading my new book, The Manifestation Toolkit. And in that book, I talk a lot about techniques that work to manifest whatever you want into your life. But the true underlying theme in that book is changing your mind about who you are, which makes obtaining the things that you've always dreamed of easy. You don't even have to think about it anymore. The universe just starts to delight you once you move into who you really are. So check that out in the link below, or you can go to Amazon.com and find it there. Thank you guys so much for watching.